I'm building AI tools specifically for women's basketball, and I'm documenting the entire thing from scratch. What's good? I'm Nicole, but most people call me Fetch. And this channel is where I'm combining my love for women's hoops and my obsession with AI. I've been locked into women's hoops way before it was cool. And at the same time, I've always been that friend experimenting with AI years before most people even cared about it. So that's where this channel comes in. I'm building real tools and automations, exploring how AI could support women's basketball, from leagues and teams to players, coaches, fans, and even content creators like myself. And I'm just not talking about it. I'm showing every single build step by step, beginner friendly, real time, including the mistakes. So you can learn with me, copy it, or even use it if you want. Stay to the end because I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm building first. And it's pretty cool, if I must say so myself. And how you can follow along or even request something you want to see built. Before I even get into I want to explain why women's basketball means so much to me. Because this isn't just something I jumped into. I've been following women's basketball for a long time, long before it started getting the attention it's finally getting now and deserves. I've watched games when the coverage was minimal, when the resources weren't there, when people constantly questioned the value of the league and the players. And even through it, all that, the talent, the competitiveness, the storytelling, it was always there. What pulled me in wasn't just the basketball, it was the culture, the players, the community, and how much heart there is in this game. I also grew up playing basketball myself. And when I was younger, there just wasn't the same level of visibility for women's basketball and women's sports that there is now. You didn't always see female athletes getting the spotlight, the coverage, or the respect that they actually deserve. So for me, seeing how much the game is growing now, that means everything. It is so cool to finally see this. Seeing younger fans be able to watch women, especially women's basketball players, do their thing on big stages, man, that's powerful. It really is. And it really goes to show that representation does matter. And if I can even be a small part of helping the game continue to grow on or off the court, that's something I deeply, deeply care about. I've spent years creating content around women's basketball, showing up to WNBA games, unrivaled basketball games, college games, the draft, all-star weekends, all while telling stories and advocating for the league in my own way. So when people talk about women's basketball being on the rise now, I'm so excited. But I also know how much work, sacrifice, and belief it took to finally get here. And there is so much more to go and grow. That's why I care so much about not just celebrating women's basketball, but actually helping build the infrastructure around it. Because attention is one thing, support systems, tools, and long term investment, that's what actually moves the game forward. And that belief is what led me to start thinking bigger than content. At the same time as all of this, I was also going down a completely different rabbit hole. I've always been curious about how things work behind the scenes, especially when it comes to technology. So I was that friend using ChatGPT years ago when it first came out, and literally no one even knew what I was talking about. I'd be like, wait, this is actually wild. And my friends were like, what are you even using right now? They had no idea. Back then, I wasn't deep, deep in it. I wasn't building crazy systems or workflows or anything like that. I was just beginner level tinkering. At the same time, though, I was deep into learning, watching YouTube videos, going down rabbit holes, trying to understand what AI could actually do, even if I wasn't building big automations yet. I was learning by watching, testing small things, and just staying curious. And one of the main people I was learning from during that time years ago was Liam Otley. Fast forward to now, I'm actually inside his AAA accelerator, learning how to properly build AI systems, workflows, and automations. I want to be really clear about this too. I'm still a beginner. I don't know how to code. I'm using no code tools, learning how to build real AI automations without a technical background. And that's intentional because most people who could benefit from AI aren't engineers. They're creators, teams, players, coaches, leagues, and fans. Long term, my goal is to build my own AI agency focused on women's basketball and women's sports, to be the go to person for AI in women's basketball. But instead of pretending I already have everything figured out, I want to show the journey. What I'm learning, what works, what doesn't, completely out in the open. And the more I learn, the more I started thinking, why isn't this being applied to women's basketball more? For a long time, going to games, women's basketball events, creating content around all of that was my main way of supporting women's hoops. Showing up to games, telling stories, creating videos, building community. And that mattered. It still matters, obviously. But at a certain point, I started realizing something. Attention is important, but attention alone just doesn't build sustainability. What actually moves leagues, teams, players, and communities forward is infrastructure, systems, tools, workflows that make things easier, faster, and more scalable behind the scenes. And I started thinking to myself and asking myself, how can I contribute there? I think that would be cool to help in that part. How can I help build the stuff that people don't always see, but absolutely rely on? That's when this channel became bigger than content. This channel exists because I want to build solutions, not just talk about the growth of the WNBA hype moments or trends. That's cool, and I still would love to do that, but I actually want to build things that help women's basketball move forward long term. And I want to do it publicly. So instead of hiding behind polished results or pretending I have all the answers, I'm building in real time. You'll see the process, you'll see the mistakes, you'll see how ideas turn into actual tools. And if you care about women's basketball, whether you're a fan, a creator, or someone working in the space, this side of the game matters just as much as what happens on the court. That's why this channel exists. And I want to be really honest about something else too. This isn't just a side project for me. This isn't something I'm just casually experimenting with. This is what I'm putting my head down and grinding toward every single day. I'm still going to be creating women's basketball content on my other platforms. That will always be a part of me. I love doing that. But this, building with AI, this is my main focus because I have a very, very long-term vision for where I want to go. My goal is to build real AI business that's deeply connected to women's basketball, not just using the sport as content, but actually supporting it. Long term, I want my AI business to be able to sponsor women's basketball, whether that's the name on the court or on jerseys or somewhere inside the arena. I want this work to come full circle and give back to the game that gave me so much. And I know that kind of vision doesn't happen overnight. It happens by showing up every day, learning in public, building the unsexy stuff, and staying consistent even when no one's watching. That's why I'm documenting all of this. This channel isn't just about where I'm at right now. It's about where I'm going, what I want for the future. So let's get into what I'm actually building first, because this channel is about action. At the core of everything I'm doing is one simple idea. I want to create workflows and systems that actually help people in women's basketball. That means building tools for whether it be leagues, teams, for players, coaches, and trainers, something that fans can use, and for content creators, such as specifically maybe podcasters too, because that's a huge area where better workflows can save so much time. The first thing I started building is something I wanted for myself, selfishly. Every single night, I get an email that summarizes the biggest women's basketball news from the day. Instead of doom scrolling, refreshing apps, or worrying about missing something, it just shows up in my inbox every night at 8:30. And I absolutely look forward to it. In my next video, I'm going to jump straight into the first build I made, breaking down the thinking behind it and how everything flowing on the back end is. And then after that, I'll walk through the full step-by-step tutorial, exactly how I created it. So if you want it, you could create it yourself too. After that, I'm also going to show you a real failure. I tried to build a women's college basketball score recap email using Zapier, and it didn't work the way I needed it to. So I'll show you exactly why it failed, what Zapier couldn't handle, and how I had to move that build over to make.com instead. We'll get more into that later. That's the kind of stuff I want to show on this channel. Not just the wins, but the learning moments that actually make you better at building. Everything I build will either solve a real problem for me or tie directly back into a real use case for women's basketball. That's going to be the standard. So if you're interested in women's basketball, AI, or learning how to build real workflows without knowing how to code, hit that subscribe button. And if you're someone in the women's basketball space who wants to talk through AI ideas or workflows, I've got a link below where you can book a 30-minute chat with me and we can go over how AI might help you out. Until then, peace.